Robinhood just made a major play and they did it in the dead of the night. No headlines, no press releases, just a simple one pager of what's about to come. This has many investors quite excited though and moved the price of XRP by about 10% on the day because they know what's coming. This most recent development from Robinhood will open the doors to more institutional confidence in the asset, as well as onboard millions of new users and investors into XRP. And with time running out for an SEC appeal, things are looking extremely good for XRP. So in today's video, we'll be covering the major news surrounding Robinhood. We'll also be covering this most recent article directly from Ripple and what it means for the future of Ripple and more importantly, the XRP token. We'll be covering some on-chain analytics on XRP holders and institutional wallets that scream accumulation. And finally, we'll be covering one crazy article that gives a price prediction for XRP at about $375.60 and what it says would need to happen in order for that to even be possible. Then I'll share my 2 cents on whether it's realistic or not. This is going to be a stacked video, so be sure to drop everything and pay close attention because by the end of this video, you'll not only leave being more bullish, but also more informed. So that said, if you're feeling blessed and bullish, comment 777. And if you're going to be the richest person in your family tree, smash the subscribe button. Before we dive in, a quick reminder that the opinions in this video are for informational and educational purposes only and do not constitute financial, legal, or investment advice. All investments, including cryptos, carry risks and potential losses. Always do your own research and consult with a licensed financial advisor. We are not licensed financial advisors, and relying on our content for financial decisions is at your own risk. By watching this video, you agree we are not responsible for any losses or damages, and we do not guarantee any specific results or outcomes. Some of the links below may be affiliate links, and we may earn a commission, which actually helps support this channel and helps us to create value-based videos like this. We also hold some positions in the cryptocurrencies that we talk about, but that's only because we do what we believe in. However, this should not be interpreted as a recommendation for you to do the same. With that said, let's get into the video. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Paul here, and we are going to start with this article from Ripple. It's going to start off with a bit of education, but it's also going to provide some insights into major partnerships that Ripple has and how that could affect the XRP token in particular. Now, the headline of this article is Bridging the Gap, Public-Private Collaboration in Digital Asset Innovation. This has been a major issue in the space. At the end of the day, I do believe the technology is almost there, and Ripple has quite a groundbreaking technology at that. They can provide a lot of solutions to make the world of finance far better, far more seamless, far more frictionless, far more affordable worldwide. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to effective regulation from the public sector, right? Working with the private sector, which is typically more nimble and operates more quickly, to create just this ecosystem of constant growth and innovation. And that's kind of what they talked about. In other words, working together, governments and private companies can better address shared challenges around interoperability. So basically the communication between two different blockchains, so to speak, right? Because at the end of the day, if you don't remember, back in the early days of the internet, or even better, cell phones, for example, if I was on AT&T's network and using their technology, and then someone was over here using Verizon technology on a Verizon phone, at one point in time, you couldn't text each other. There was no interoperability. These days, we don't even think twice about what carrier or network someone is on or what cell phone they're using. We can still shoot a text or an SMS. That is what you would consider interoperability. So it's extremely important because at the end of the day, the blockchain space is very fragmented. We have a lot of different blockchains. We have a lot of different governments trying to build out CBDCs. We need a centralized point of communication or interoperability. That would be huge. And I believe Ripple could provide a lot of services for that. Security and scalability, which are critical for the widespread adoption of digital assets. Now, it's really cool. I'm going to start to name off a boatload of names so you can see just how big of a deal this is. Ripple prioritized engagement at a key public-private forum like 2.0 Forum, an initiative of Elevandi and the Swiss State Secretariat for International Finance. So yes, it is a pretty big deal. At the roundtable, we had a lot of heavy hitters from the Bank of Lithuania, the Bank of France, BIS Innovation Hub, the Monetary Authority of Singapore, OECD. Industry representatives include Cambridge Center for Alternative Finance, Global Blockchain Business Council, International Capital Market Association, and Uniswap Labs, which is a major DEX and arguably the biggest DEX in the space. But that's not all, guys. The roundtable also hosted in partnership with Circle, an ecosystem. Circle is the second largest stablecoin in the space, bringing together participants including the Australian Securities and Investments Commission, the Bank of Canada, Bank of Thailand, CFTE, JP Morgan, and UBS Group. They all talked about all of the issues that the blockchain space is currently facing, and that's probably because they all have a vested interest in seeing this win, considering there's a lot of money on the line here, right? Now, what did they talk about exactly? Well, first, they want to integrate blockchain-based digital money into the existing payments infrastructure. This is something that, again, is very much possible right now. The problem is the space is far too fragmented, and then you're always, backpedaling with regulators. Regulators are either, hostile or they're friendly, but then you have one person who wants to send money from one country or bank to another, and they just can't do it because you're going to have a bunch of legal issues embroiled. That said, they want to ensure interoperability between different forms of digital money, and that is essential. The global digital payments market is projected to reach $6.6 trillion by 2025. That's just digital payments, guys. So that is actually a very big deal because the whole globe has already been moving towards cashless transactions. In other words, while domestic payment systems have improved, cross-border transactions remain expensive, and this is something that blockchain and Ripple will solve. So this is, again, a call from these major players to combine regulatory oversight and stability of the public sector with the agility and technological prowess of the private sector. These partnerships create a fertile ground for innovation and ensure that advancements in digital assets are not only cutting edge, but also secure, compliant, and aligned with broader economic and societal goals. So ever since day one, Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, the team have made it known that they are a US player and want to play at a global scale. They can't obviously go and do business between, common enemies of the West right now, because if they did, right, that would hurt their cause. At the end of the day, if you want to be playing in the biggest pond, you need to play by the big dog's rules. And right now we simply don't have all of that clarity, which is why I do believe this upcoming election is so freaking important. But here's the cool thing. There are so many players, so many big banks, so many institutions that are now saying and demanding that Congress and the president start to play more friendly with crypto. So I do believe it doesn't really matter at this point exactly who gets into office. I just believe one would be better than the other. But at the end of the day, I think, a lot of these things that they're talking about are going to come to fruition here in 2025. So this is major news for Ripple, because now it provides a fertile soil for them to really grow as a company and for the XRP token to take off in a regulated manner. And that's just on the heels of this Twitter post from Wall Street Bulls where he says the Ripple case is over. The SEC won't appeal. Why? Because in the Binance case, and that was what was recently stated all over socials recently, where basically the SEC stated really there is no such thing as crypto asset securities. It's just a term that was hearsay that they kind of made up. So that it was actually a very big deal and arguably a confession from the SEC. The SEC has now acknowledged that crypto by itself is not a security. With this stance, they have no grounds to appeal the XRP ruling. It's officially done and dusted. Now, I would agree with that statement. I don't think that's ever been on the table that they were going to rule or appeal, I should say, that XRP itself is a security. That was already made clear in 2023, but they can still appeal the total amount or the settlement amount. And so that's really kind of the only thing on the table. And I think that would hold bigger investors back from potentially wanting to enter the space. However, a lot of players are already getting back into Ripple or adding XRP to their bags. One of those being Robinhood. Now, for those of you guys who don't know what Robinhood is, I'm assuming it's very few of you. Just as a quick reminder, it is one of the top retail investor apps. They make investing in stocks and now crypto very simple and straightforward. Now, this is not an ad, but I just want to share how big of news this is. The company has 23.9 million funded customers, 13.7 million monthly active users, and $130 billion in assets under custody. So they are no small player, and by no means are they anyone that should be just tossed to the side as it's not that big of a deal, because Robinhood has a lot of retail investors that when they list something, right, there's interest from these retail investors, which creates a lot of demand and potentially even a supply crunch for newly listed assets and stocks. Now, on the day that they actually put out this one pager explaining the new listings that they're going to be adding to their platform, XRP did pump 10%. Now, there were a few positive events that happened that day, but it definitely played a role in the price. Okay, and as of recently, you can see right here, here's the image where Robinhood itself has said they are going to relist Ripple. At one point in 2018, they actually had Ripple listed, but then they delisted it when we had the SEC lawsuit, which really hurt the price action of Ripple, and it really hurt retail investors. Well, now they are going to be adding it back. However, at the moment, XRP is only available to eligible Robinhood customers residing in the EU. Now, my theory is because the EU is a little bit more crypto friendly, they're just testing the waters over there, right? And they're probably going to wait until that appeal is up, and then they are going to likely list in the US. Now, when you have their whole plethora of US customers and EU customers being able to access Ripple in an easy manner, it is likely going to affect the price of XRP and Ripple, and that retail demand might even drive institutional demand, okay, in terms of the actual token. Institutions might say, well, if retails are going to want to get access to it, we should probably start to be picking it up right now, which is why we would likely see the price start to climb a little bit before a listing into the US. So if we do start to see some interesting price action and we don't know why, let's say the price starts to look really strong, right, then it's likely that these guys know something we don't, and they're picking it up right now on the cheap, because when it does get listed on something like Robinhood in the US, that is going to be a major deal. Now, you combine this with all of the bullish factors that are happening in the market. If you watch my most recent video or yesterday's video to see what's actually going on, things are starting to look pretty bullish, considering that even Grayscale, as of recently, a leading asset management firm, has launched a single asset investment fund or a trust centered on XRP, and yes, they are likely to be buying XRP. So now you have that demand from retailers over at Robinhood. You're going to have Robinhood actually buying a bunch of XRP to offer to their customers, and now Grayscale is going to offer it in an institutional manner. I mean, things couldn't look more bullish right now. I understand that the price hasn't moved as much, but the whole market hasn't moved that much. The whole market has been, traded down or to the right and sideways for quite some time, and so this consolidation phase actually provides a really good opportunity for us to accumulate into the next breakout, which I do believe is going to come into the end of the year and probably continue after that first Federal Reserve rate cut. Now, that said, as we start to near October and a potential major bullish breakout, if you're going to be an XRP holder or you've already been holding XRP for quite some time, the best thing you can do is head down to the link below or the description, bullrunners.com, to discover how to earn more crypto in less than 10 minutes with the #1 play to earn XRP game. This is a great way to put that XRP to work for you, so you can actually reduce the volatility in your portfolio and stack on that XRP bag in the case that we get some major breakouts. It's like compounding growth, right? It's a far better way to put that XRP to work than just have it sit in a wallet. And the way that you do it is very simple. In 3 simple steps, you get an XRP wallet, you get your game pieces, and then you play the game to earn crypto. The crypto itself is directly convertible for XRP, and we show you exactly how to do it in on all of these very simple videos. They're easy to follow, easy to understand. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain by simply checking it out. This is an all market solution. So even if the market starts to look a little bit bearish over the next couple weeks or week as we end into, or near the end of September, totally fine. Just go to bullrunners.com, a link in the description below. Look forward to seeing you on the other side. Let's get back into the video. Now on to this nutty article that explains how XRP could hit $375. It is pretty nutty. I wonder if it's actually possible. And so I just did a little bit of homework into the article and how they shared that information. Basically, if XRP achieved a market valuation or a market cap of $21 trillion, this would lead to a price of $375 per token. Now that's considering that no new tokens enter the space, right? We're at 51.6 billion tokens currently circulating. However, the max supply of XRP is 100 billion. So I do believe if the prices continue to rise, yes, the team at Ripple is likely to take some of that and sell it into the market to provide more liquidity, add more to exchanges, but that is going to dilute the value of Ripple, so or XRP. So for that reason alone, I don't believe we'd ever sit only at 51 billion tokens right now, as we have not broke out to new all-time highs. We've been there for a little while, but eventually when we go to new all-time highs, it's likely going to increase. Okay, 21 trillion is a lot, and the way that they got to this valuation, if you will, is that they did a homework, and this is the title of the actual article. Here's the XRP price. If XRP captures 15% of the global financial market. Now, this is kind of misleading because 15% of the global financial market would assume that all of that value is going into XRP. I would argue it is maybe possible that Ripple, as a company using all of their blockchain technologies and their infrastructure, could service 15% of the global financial market, but that is very much different from all of that money going only into the XRP token. And so that's a really important distinction to make. But the way that they get here is they say the total equity market value reached a staggering $140.7 trillion in 2023, which is fair. And so if XRP were to capture just 15% of this massive market, it would control approximately $21 trillion of market value. That would put the token price at $375 if we remained at these tokens. So that said, it is extremely speculative and highly unlikely, considering that not even gold is sitting at this market cap. And there are many people in this community that would argue, well, that's not what it's designed for. XRP is going to be moving all of the money in the world, and they're going to do it with XRP. But at the end of the day, they could do it with a stable coin, which is why Ripple is introducing a stable coin. They wouldn't need to take on the volatility, right, or the risk of the XRP token itself. So these are a lot of assumptions and conjecture, and at the end of the day, it's highly unlikely that Ripple will likely hit $375 per token unless they actually started burning a lot of these tokens and demand went up like crazy. So it could potentially capture 15% of the global financial market in terms of how it services these companies and using the blockchain technology. And yes, a lot of that value would probably find its way into the XRP token, but that is a complete assumption. So it's really important when you read these types of articles to know, is it going to hit $375? Highly unlikely, mostly speculative, but it is likely to break out to new all-time highs. And that's what we get excited about here on the channel. We want to give you some realistic expectations. All right, guys, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull up a little bit of on-chain analysis to show you what's really going on with the XRP token in terms of accumulation. So right here, this green line is the price of XRP, and it's going back to about October of 2023. We've seen some spikes to about 74 to 75 cents. And since that point in time, we've started painting a new trend. Over on the right-hand side, you can see that we have a series of higher lows, and we have yet to have higher highs, but this is painting a bit of a pennant in and of itself. That said, this yellow line is people that hold between 1 to 100,000 XRP. So these are retail investors through and through. Then this red line is people that hold between 10 million to 100 million XRP, and the blue line is 1 million to 10 million XRP. So these are institutional players. I would argue this is a major investor. These are more institutional players, the red line. And in each and every every single situation. Since the lows right over here back in July 2020 of this year, you can see that retail investors have been picking up XRP by the load, right? Consistently, they are adding to that bag, and that is indicated by that yellow line. More and more people are adding to their bags. Then the institutional investors, since back in January of 2024, have consistently accumulated and added to their bag. And we are not at a new all-time high, but we're very close at about 7 billion XRP for those guys. And then finally, even the investors, although they did dump right here on some volatility back in August, have consistently been adding to their portfolio since March of 2024. So when you get a confluence of all of these major players, okay, we're talking institutional players, investors, and retail all accumulating XRP, then you combine all of the bullish news into the end of the year. I think this is going to provide for that catalyst. All we need is one. It's going to provide the environment for that catalyst to really skyrocket XRP to new all-time highs. So now let's dive into the XRP token and just what we're looking at over the next week, maybe a couple weeks, what you should be on the lookout for, and when to buy or accumulate. Okay, so the first thing I want to point out, and this is relative strength to Bitcoin. So whenever we're below this little purple line right here, this is an indicator that we are relatively weak to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is outperforming XRP. Whenever we cross above it and look green right here, this is an indicator that XRP is now relatively strong to Bitcoin. So since back in July, or this range right here, XRP is outperforming Bitcoin. That is a very good sign considering they're both relatively correlated. Okay, then we have a contraction of volume right here. Now this contraction of volume typically I don't love unless of course we're getting a series of higher lows or a new trend to the upside. So right here we have a major low right here, a new higher low, and another higher low right here. So this contraction of volume, even though we are not breaking out, is a good sign that we're going to get an explosive move relatively soon. So the first range to really break above would be the 62 cent to 65 cent range right here, indicated by these recent highs and sell-off. Okay, with the relative strength, things are looking pretty good. I would expect us to, when we break through here, to easily pump directly up to that 74 to 75 cent range, and this would be our major range resistance over the last basically year. Okay, from July of 2023, we've consistently failed to break above that range. So if we break above that range, that gives us a lot of breathing room up to the $2 range. But I don't know if that's going to happen this week or anytime in the near future. And I would say near future being, week, 2 weeks. So maybe in the next month we'll start to see that. But any one major catalyst could also send us flying. So I do believe we are in accumulation zone. Now, if we get a break below this trend line, and it could happen. We could have a little bit of a bear trap right here where the price breaks down only to break back in this range right here into these highs. I've seen that happen over and over and over again. I would still like to see volume relatively weak on those sells. So as long as we get a breakdown like this, okay, as long as the volume on the sell side isn't a massive, sell volume bar, totally fine. That would be an indicator that that was kind of one of those bear traps that you should honestly be accumulating into. Anything into, in my opinion, the 45 cent range down to like 42 would be my accumulation zone. And I'm currently accumulation zone, but I'm saying like, let's buy more. Let's back up the truck, buy more XRP, because we are officially in a range where, we have so much support through this range right here. If I pull up that VRVP, you can see an insane amount of support right here from a volume perspective. So there will be a lot of buyers from 40 cents down to 33 cents. And unless we get a black swan event, highly unlikely we're breaking below there. So that said, I'd be on the lookout for a break above the 62 cent range here in the near future. I would like to see some volume confirm that with some massive volume bars that look similar to this right here. And it's nice to see XRP finally sitting in a range where it's building some serious support and really creating for that environment for an explosive move to the upside. So if you enjoyed the video, you learned something new, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, it helps us out, and then head on over to bullrunners.com, link in the description below, to discover how to earn more crypto in less than 10 minutes with the #1 play to earn XRP game. All market solution, reduce your volatility, add or stack to that XRP bag. Great way to put your XRP to work. You have nothing to lose, everything to gain by checking it out. Link is in the description below. I look forward to seeing you on the other side, and I will see you in the next video, my friend. Goodbye.